Hey sinners, I have been playing the Ashes of Creation Alpha 2. During that time, I've been playing as the Cleric, and today I'm going to be going through and doing a bit of a guide on what abilities you want to build first if you're going for a full healer build, and what is going to help you sustain the longest. So to start, let me just explain the first four abilities that you get. So you've got Mend. This is your basic heal. It doesn't do a lot, but it's got a really short cooldown, low mana cost. This will be like you'll be pressing this button a lot. Divine Power. This is the cleric's sort of special mana bar. It seems like each class sort of has one. Divine Power builds up whenever you deal damage. Yeah, so whenever you heal someone, whenever you deal damage, builds up this little divine power bar, and that interacts with some of the abilities. So I'm just explaining that now. So it's sort of a little special. Smite. That's sort of like your initial damaging ability. It's okay. It's all right, but it eventually will get replaced by Judgment. I mean, I keep it on just because it's a free ability, but like most of the time, it gets replaced by Judgment. And you also have Resurrect, which was available from level 1 basically, but they have since changed it to level 6. So, first ability you put in, you've got two things here, Divine Infusion and Essence Infusion. Essence Infusion is basically a toggled ability that turns your divine power bar into extra mana, pretty much. You toggle it on, and while it's active, it'll chew up your divine power before going into your mana bar. So I would this is the one I recommend taking first, just because in the early game there isn't a lot of mana sustain, and eventually you can go with Divine Infusion, which is not a toggle; it's an active, and what it does is it'll use divine power to reduce the cast time. So what you can do is you cast an ability when the bar goes from green to yellow, you hit the divine infusion button, and it'll do it. I don't really like that. I can see this divine infusion is a lot more useful for if you're trying to get your DPS up, because a lot of the damaging abilities have long cast times. So you'll be starting off with essence infusion. That's your number one, essence infusion. Number two, so just to get your full healing kit out by level 3, you'll want to pick Soothing Glow. I like this one because it's a single target, but you get 2 charges with it. It's a heal over time, and it's very useful for when you just need a little top up. You just need a little top up on someone. The cooldown is 8 seconds. It's fine. No cast time. It's pretty instant. This is an ability that you want to use on people who are not the tank, right? So if any of your ranged DPS take any damage, your non-tank like fighters and stuff, if they're in there and they take a little bit of damage, you could just throw this on them. It'll start like ticking up, and it'll usually get them back to like full HP pretty good. And so the second after Soothing Glow, you'll take Flash Cure. This is because Flash Cure is, I call it the panic button. It's got 3 charges, and it instantly heals an ally for a boatload of health, 250% health, which is very nice. So Soothing Glow, that'll hold you over until you reach level 3, which shouldn't take too long. Then after that, you'll want to upgrade Soothing Glow. You start with 3 charges on Mend. So that's kind of enough to get you through. And what I want to do is by level 5, you want to have Blessed Weapon, because this you can put this on yourself, and it gives you a bit of extra damage, and you also get mana regen from it. So this is going to really help you sustain. So if you're soloing Blessed Weapon, and then you want to get the Bountiful Blessed Weapon, which basically means that if you put the Blessed Weapon on someone else, whenever they attack, you will get increased mana regen, the same as if you would put it on yourself. You won't get the damage, but you will get the mana regen. So this is really useful when you're in a group, and you can throw it on, say, your tank, or one of your fighters or a ranger. It's just someone who's constantly attacking and dealing damage. It not only helps them, it gives them a bit more damage and gives them the mana to keep going. It also helps you sustain. So this Blessed Weapon, so important. And this is also just a toggle. So once you put it on, you don't have to keep an eye on it. If you log in, log out, it'll be gone, but you basically just toggle it on. That's what I like about these two. Is like, oh, it's just a toggle, okay? So then after that, 6, you want to go for Consecrating Wave. This is a damage ability at first, right? And it deals a decent amount of damage. So this is going to help, like if you end up soloing a bit, it's going to help you clear like a large amount of minions. minions, mobs. You want to take this, but what we really want here, so this is going to help you deal some AoE damage. And what we really want here is the passive to it, which you can't see, but that's okay. Basically, what it does is it adds healing to that wave. I'll just read it because you can't see it. Consecrating wave additionally heals you and up to 10 allies for 250% healing. So it turns your damage wave, which you can throw out every now and then, into a heal. So right now you'll have mend, soothing glow, flash cure, and consecrating wave. And that's just level 8. And so what you want to do is after you get to that, you will want to start backfilling sort of get escalating mend, which is really useful. Okay. And then also pick up divine flare, which is an AoE heal that you could put on the ground, and it kind of depends what you're doing. At the moment, you can respec really easily, but I would recommend whenever I got communal restoration, I found that I already had enough healing. I didn't need this huge ultimate heal. So I put it into divine retribution, which turns this AoE heal. It's sort of the opposite of this, where it's like, okay, this is an AoE damage and you can turn it into a heal, and this is an AoE heal and you can turn it into a damage. But also, you have divine protection up here, which applies a bit of damage mitigation for any allies inside of it, which is also very useful. So, if you find yourself in a position where you're running out of heals to drop, you can take communal restoration. It does have a bit of a cast time, so this would be one of those things that's really up to preference. I didn't end up using this as much because I don't like having the long cast times. I think Divine Flare has a little bit of a cast time, but it's not or not. Yeah, yeah, not a cast time. It like goes down on the ground and then it expands like it sort of takes a second for it to, yeah, you know what I mean. You played an MMO before. So I would probably just upgrade this. So that Divine Flare, basically you could just drop that on an enemy and then you healing everyone in the circle, giving them a bit of damage mitigation and also dealing a bit of damage at the same time. This is super handy. Some of these ultimates, you might look at them and be like, "Oh, okay, what can I use that for?" If you're going a full healer build, I would do the communal restoration. The Chains of Restraint feels like a DPS build thing, deals some damage, but also is good CC. So you can throw that on people. It does rooted for, yeah, so weakens them and roots them. I didn't end up doing that. I just found it easier to, there is a lot of CC spread out throughout all of the classes. And so it didn't really matter too much that I didn't have any CC. As long as I had a boatload of healing just to keep everyone alive, that kept everyone happy. There's also this Wings of Salvation, kind of a fun ability. It's like sort of like a mercy dash where you can basically dash to another person. Yeah, so you dash to someone and it gives them, temporary health, which is kind of fun. And then the passive for it is breaks all disable effects. So the communal restoration is like I would take this. I mean, if you're struggling and you really need some heals, this is like the heal ultimate, and it'll basically just heal everyone around you like for a large amount, and then it'll keep applying like a heal over time, which is pretty nice. But from here, I would take this Righteous Blessed Weapon. It's the other passive for Blessed Weapon. You don't really need it that much, but it does help in putting out damage. It adds like extra radiant and fire damage to whoever you have it on attack. So I would probably take that 13 and then 14. And as you can see, my cleric is only level 14. But like I did play around with a few of these abilities, and this was sort of the build that I felt comfortable with. And anything else that I needed, I would sort of just, spec out of some of these passives. Like, oh, I don't need the communal restoration. And maybe divine protection is like, oh, I need a couple extra points. Okay. And so I feel like having the panic button is good there, but there is also this one ability, Defiant Light, which can be very useful. If you see your tank and they're about to like go down, what you can do is throw Defiant Light on them. Basically, it's a Guardian's Angel. They go down, but if they get fatal damage, they come back at 25% health, and hopefully by that time you have some more cooldowns off that you can flash cure them and just like boom, jump them up. So yeah, I'd probably have that one in the kit, like just right next to Flash Cure, in case you see, in case Flash Cure isn't enough, but you've got 3 charges of that, so usually if you drop, like, all 3 charges of that onto someone, that'll pick them up immediately. I'm not gonna go too much deeper. If you wanna look at any of this, I'm using the Ashes Codex website. They have a whole database, a character planner, a guide, map, whatever you need. This is what I'm using. I would take a look at it, plan out your own stuff. If you have any suggestions on how I can improve this, then let me know. But yeah, that's all for now. Don't forget to check out the Twitch channel, Sinflow TV. I'm going to be streaming there, hopefully.